What if an AI could actually predict your marital bliss? Today, we're diving into a really fascinating story from Sri Lanka, where ancient traditions are meeting cutting-edge technology, all in the search for that perfect partner. So let's dive in.
So where did this whole idea come from? Well, it was sparked by this growing anxiety, a feeling, really a perception, that something was going seriously wrong with modern marriage in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, this was the big question on everyone's mind. There was this widespread belief that even with traditional practices like arranged marriages, the divorce rate, especially for newlyweds, was just skyrocketing. It felt like the old ways, well, they weren't cutting it anymore.
But, and this is where it gets good, when you actually look past that feeling on the street and dig into the real data, the story takes a totally unexpected turn.
Okay, so this is where it gets really, really interesting. You've got this feeling on the ground of a total crisis, right? But the statistics, they were painting a completely different picture, like the exact opposite.
And I mean, just look at this. The contrast is absolutely staggering. Sri Lanka's crude divorce rate is just 0.2 per 1,000 people. To put that in perspective, that's 9 times lower than the global average. It's not just low, it is one of the lowest rates on the entire planet. And get this, it's a world away from its neighbor, the Maldives, which actually has the highest divorce rate in the world. Crazy, right?
So this brings up a huge question, doesn't it? If the divorce rate is so incredibly low, why does everybody feel like marriage is in crisis? Well, this is where we start to peel back the layers and find the real problem hiding underneath. Because it turns out that that super low divorce rate, it's not actually a sign of happy, blissful marriages. Nope, it's a symptom of something way more complicated.
And here's the thing. That number is so low because getting a divorce in Sri Lanka is, well, it's incredibly difficult. You can't just say, hey, we have irreconcilable differences. You have to legally prove one of 3 very specific things: malicious desertion, adultery, or incurable impotence. So what does that mean? It means this super strict legal system forces a lot of unhappy couples to just stay married, at least on paper. So the real problem isn't divorce at all. It's this hidden, unmeasured thing called marital instability.
Okay, so this gets us right to the scientific heart of the issue. A massive machine learning study, we're talking over 11,000 couples, figured out what really predicts a successful relationship. And the results? They're eye-opening. A huge 45% of what makes a relationship work comes down to what they call relationship-specific factors. Things like how you communicate, how you show appreciation, your intimacy, all the stuff you do together. Your individual traits, the stuff you'd list on a profile, that's actually a much smaller piece of the puzzle. And this quote from the study, it just nails it. Who I am doesn't matter as much as who I am when I am with you. You see, traditional matchmaking, which is all about income, caste, education, it's been looking at the wrong stuff all along. The science is crystal clear. Your dynamic as a couple is what truly matters. It's all about the us, not just a me and a you.
So the big question becomes, how on earth do you measure that? That dynamic, that who I am when I'm with you feeling? Well, that is exactly where this new tech solution comes into play.
And the biggest difference here is the shift from static to dynamic. Think about it. Traditional methods are basically just checklists, right? Caste, income, appearance, check, check, check. This AI engine is totally different. It's all about the dynamic stuff. It doesn't care about your job title. What it cares about is how you talk to each other, how you handle disagreements. Do your values actually line up when you interact, not just when you write them on a form? So here's the core idea. And let's be clear, this is not a dating app. It's a secure, private, kind of supervised digital space. A couple gets an initial match, and then they can communicate there. Behind the scenes, the AI is analyzing the patterns in their conversation, the sentiment, the back and forth, the emotional reciprocity to build a real, deep picture of how compatible they truly are. Now, obviously, you can't just parachute a futuristic AI into a culture with thousands of years of tradition, right? The absolute key to making this work is to blend it in, to integrate it respectfully. And this is the really clever part, how they're making it feel natural. In Sri Lanka, there's this long-standing tradition called parundum, which is basically horoscope matching. It's a totally accepted way of getting a kind of external, data-based thumbs up on a match. So they're positioning this AI as a modern evolution of that, a kind of scientific parundum for the 21st century. You see, it's not about replacing tradition, it's about giving it a high-tech upgrade. So, how would this actually work for a couple? Let's walk through it. Step 1. A match is made using all the normal traditional methods. Nothing new there. Then, Step 2. The couple starts talking inside this private AI-analyzed chat environment. After a little while, Step 3, boom, they get a really detailed compatibility report. And finally, and this is the absolute key to the whole thing, that report doesn't just give them some AI score. It actually combines the AI score with their traditional parandom score. So you get this single, powerful insight that honors both the past and the future.
Of course, anytime you talk about building a tool that's, listening to our most intimate conversations, it's going to raise some big questions about trust, privacy, and ethics. And the creators of this system, they know this. They know this will only work if it's built on a rock-solid foundation of trust. That means doing things by the book, strict compliance with Sri Lanka's data privacy laws, which are actually modeled on Europe's GDPR. It means getting explicit consent for everything. And maybe most importantly, it means designing the algorithm to specifically avoid biases. It's not looking at sensitive stuff like caste or religion. It's focused purely on those behavioral patterns we talked about. So when you boil it all down, by shifting the focus away from static profiles and onto the dynamic, messy reality of how we are with each other, this whole project in Sri Lanka is really posing a pretty profound question for all of us. Can an algorithm, a piece of technology like this, one that's rooted in science but also deeply respectful of tradition, can it actually help us build a lasting love? Can it help us make one of the biggest decisions of our entire lives? It's a really fascinating peek into what the future of finding love might just look like.